high school track meet yesterday turned deadly. 17-year-old football star Austin Metcalf was stabbed in the heart and left to die in his twin brother's arms after a fight broke out yesterday. The suspect was allegedly told he was sitting in the wrong seat in the stands of the stadium before drawing a knife and attacking Austin. Police have yet to reveal what led up to that moment, but we do know the other student has been charged with murder. Take your time. Hunter, I know you were there when it happened. What can you tell us about what happened at that track meet? How could this thing that seems like is not on the menu of possibilities could happen? Again, I was at a track meet, by the way, on Tuesday. This is not something you think could ever happen. How did it happen?
So it was a really bad storm in the morning, and they had a lot of delays. And me, my brother, a couple of kids were walking back from the field house of the middle school because we attended that middle school when we went to middle school, and we were saying hello to old coaches and catching up with them. And then we're walking back to our stand. We put our tent up so all the bleachers were right there were not wet from all the rain. We come back, we sit down, and this kid said something behind me. I've never met this kid in my entire life, never knew who he was. Said something just inappropriate and uncalled for. And I turned around and asked him who he was. He started getting really aggressive. My brother stepped in. He started being, how he always is with me, just brothers, just having my back. And things started getting more higher intensity. And the kid said some aggressive stuff, reckless stuff. And also try to handle the problem.
Austin was always one to step up. He always was one to step up and be the person that would do the right thing.
He stepped up over there, asked him to move, got aggressive, he grabbed the bag, and then I whipped my head around, and then all of a sudden I see him running down the bleachers, grabbing his chest, and just blood rushing out. He said, he got stabbed. First, I froze for half a second. I didn't know what to do. And then I saw him about to fall. I went to go over there. I grabbed him. I see.
Stop.
Yeah, I understand. Best I can to understand.
Yeah, there was. You can see. You can picture what happened when what was coming out of his chest, and
yeah.
Y'all can visualize other stuff. I don't want to put down my mom right now, but I pushed my hand on there to try to make it stop, and I grabbed his head and I looked in his eyes. I just saw his soul leave, and it took my soul too.
Greetings from the east to north to south, and this wicked as west. The topic: liberty and justice for the questions. Why you think black freedom never mattered? Let's get into it. I am your host. I am the one.
Okay. One thing I heard the media says stop spreading false information. What a joke. During the days of Malcolm X, the media has always spread false information. Always have. So when they say stop spreading false information, what a joke. Because they coach these people, Austin's family, to tell lies. You're going to see a part of this video, next video anyway, that there was somebody in the background coaching them, making sure they say the right thing to receive sympathy from the large population of America. The large population which have already given them support. Yeah, Mr. White is here today too. They were coached to say certain things. There was somebody in the background coaching them to say certain things. Well, let's go with what we know. Number one, there is a fundraiser. It's not GoFundMe, but there is a fundraiser for Carmelo Anthony. And I've made sure that I have given what I could afford because he's not going to get justice here in America. It's just that simple. So, number one, I got my list. Carmelo Anthony had a good GPA. After his arrest, he had no drugs in his system. Number two, Austin Metcalf. He had drugs in his system, meth. You can look at the report for yourself. He had drugs in his system. So number one, they could not get Carmelo on using drugs. He had none in his system. Number two, he had a good GPA. So no drugs in his system, good GPA. Now, Austin, he had drugs in his system. So Fox News would like to paint a picture of this boy from the hood that's simply violent. What probably happened in that tent, which was not even Austin's tent, he probably called them, "Get out of here, you ninja." And you know what I'm trying to say. That probably started the conflict. Number two, from what I hear, Austin was not even on the track team. What give him the right to tell somebody, "Get out of this tent"? It's not yours. As a matter of fact, it's the school's tent, and you're not even on the track team. Now, Carmelo was on the track team. So if it's raining, if you have a right to go under a tent, that's his right. But Fox News won't tell you that. But they're going to tell us, don't spread false information. And this devil has been spreading false information since the birth of television. Anyway, point three. From what he said, he have never met Carmelo before. Well, somebody showed a picture online where he was standing right next to him in a picture. It grows even deeper. So one thing that I know for a fact is that they like to paint a picture before the whole thing even starts to make sure he's found guilty before anything ever starts. The thing is, he's being found guilty in the eyes of the public. That's the problem. They want to paint a picture of him guilty in the eyes of the public. That's what they do. One thing that disturbed me the most, the case of Robert Brooks. He was murdered in the prison system. It took 3 months, say it again, 3 months before 11 or 12 so-called officers was charged. Now, when this case happened, Carmelo was charged with murder. It probably didn't take 2 days. Automatically charged with murder. And then you got the mom crying up a storm. No tears. You know what? Yeah, whatever. You get no sympathy out of me. Let's put it that way. You get no sympathy out of me. You have murdered black people year in and year out. But somehow you expect to get sympathy? Yeah, right. Okay. Call me what you wish. I could give less than a damn. The lady had no tears coming out of her eyes. And in the background, I'm about to play the clip right now, that there had to be a lawyer in the background coaching them on what to say. Okay, I'll be back.
I've seen interviews with your husband, who I can hear in the side, by the way. I think he's there in the room with you. I saw an interview last night. Okay, someone else.
Okay, yeah. Now, who was in the background? Who was in the background coaching them? Who was in the background? And you expect to receive justice You think this media is fair? And you say, don't spread false reports? Who was coaching you in the background? I got a note down here. I don't really want to forget what I'm about to say. Black freedom never mattered. They will take a black life, which they has been doing the same thing since the beginning of this country. They will take a black life and they will put it in prison. And the person or persons are innocent. But you know what they'll do? They'll take their whole life away, knowing that they are innocent. You got people right now in prison, black people, that's in prison right now, and they know they are innocent. This judicial system know they are innocent. But guess what? They're going to leave them in there. So here's a question for you. Do black freedom really matters? Honestly, you take a whole life and you enslave it. When you enslave a person, they are in prison. That's slavery. Knowing that they are innocent. And guess what? Mr. White, he'll do it with a straight face. He'll go home and sleep like a baby. Is Mr. White here? Yeah, he's here. Mr. White will do it with a straight face, and his woman is right by his side. It's almost like law enforcement. You must sit there and allow them to take your life. And if you fight back, it's called resisting arrest. You know, this got to stop. So you have to sit there and allow them to take your life. And if you fight back, and if you live, you're still going to be charged with resisting arrest. You're at the point where you got to do what you got to do. Because you're not going to win here with this man. Mr. White is the devil that the Bible speaks of. And guess what? His woman is right by his side. Now, I don't know what happened under that tent, but I can guarantee you one thing. 1 against 4 or 5, really? And he said he was being aggressive. You know, usually when you're outnumbered, you're not that aggressive. But that's the false narrative they are going to try to sell, and they probably will sell it. Let me go to one more clip. I'll be back.
Now, according to ABC News, witnesses reported that Anthony allegedly reached inside his bag and said, "Touch me and see what happens." That same source also reports that when Metcalf grabbed Anthony to move him, Anthony allegedly pulled out a black knife and stabbed Metcalf in the chest. Now, due to the unique dynamics of the story, many have labeled this a racial and political issue, with many supporting Anthony claiming self-defense. Now, the victim's father, Jeff, was one to come out on multiple news platforms to deny the situation stemmed from race and politics. Eddie Griffin would cover the story on a new episode of his series NNN, and he would go on to take the father's side. Additionally, Griffin would end up condemning Anthony for even using a knife instead of fighting.
I want to clarify something right off the start because I've already heard some rumors and some gossip. This was not a race thing, and this is not a political thing.
There's reports that, you know, they were bullying the stabbee, the stabber, and that's why he stabbed him. If you get bullied, you know, just knuckle up. Why is it always weapons involved with these little retarded children? You got a gun, you shoot it. You got a knife, you stab a motherfucker. He was just talking to you.
The story appears to have many divided on social media, particularly when it comes to the issue of race, despite the victim's father stating race didn't apply and Griffin agreeing. Tariq Nasheed would add his commentary on social media site X and would immediately bring up how he thinks race applies. He wrote, "A suspected white supremacist named Austin Metcalf pictured with his twin, allegedly demanded honor student Carmelo Anthony give up his seat, like it was the Jim Crow era. Carmelo defended himself from the alleged threat. The Daniel Penny case set this precedent. Taking the opposite approach, conservative commentator Matt Walsh would write, "If I told you that a young man stabbed another young man to death for telling him that he was in the wrong seat, and then I told you that one young man in this altercation was white and the other black, and then I asked you had to guess the race of the assailant, every single person would know the answer immediately. Young black males are violent to a wildly, outrageously disproportionate degree. That's just a fact. We all know it. And it's time that we speak honestly about it, or nothing will ever change." Another social media user, Bishop Talbot Swan, will use 17-year-old Kyle Rittenhouse as an example that many conservatives rally behind. He would say, "Y'all said 17-year-old Kyle Rittenhouse was justified in killing 2 people with an AR-15 because he felt threatened. 17-year-old Carmelo Anthony was defending himself when he killed Austin with a knife. And y'all think he deserves to go to prison? I wonder why."
Okay, this is my final clip. Now, you heard what he said. He said, "Touch me again." So you tell me who was the aggressor. The brother said, "Touch me again." So are you serious? One thing I really dislike about Eddie Griffith, he said, knuckle up, okay? When you're outnumbered, you use what you can. Now, if you live in a suburb, in a gated community, and you're going to tell us to knuckle up, you've been confined to the good life for a while. So just shut up. If you don't know what's going on, just shut up. People don't have to knuckle up if they're fearing for their life. They use what they can use. I mean, really. One thing that the Pop said was, this was not about black and white. We live in America. It's always black and white, always. If you want to be that naive, and want to be stupid, be stupid. It's always about race. Don't be fooled. Final thing. One of the guys said black males are violent. But this same guy, let's talk about the Israelis and the Palestinians. Why you want to run your mouth? And how many people have they killed? Innocent people, women and children. I don't know your nationality, but I suspect I know what it is. So you need to keep your mouth shut too. Apply it equally across the board. America goes in and lands white people out in the thousands, in hundreds of thousands. As far as the rumors, they're about to attack Iran with these big, giant bombs. It's going to kill women and children. And you want to talk about somebody that's violent. You devils really makes me sick. We really know who's the violent one. We really know. You put the numbers together. Black on black crime, America's crime. And look at the death toll. Let me tell you something. It won't even be close. Thank you for watching. I'm your host. I am